Welcome back. This time we're going to take our wireframe and start applying colors and styles and add some of the actual content in. But what I'd like to do is show you, this is the wireframe we were working on, so I just want to show you how the homepage, homepage came out. If you take a look, I've put all the elements on here. It's pretty much looking the same as the original one that we did. But if I take a look at the assets palette, it will show me all the colors that I placed in. It'll show me my character styles, and if I created any components. Now, I didn't create any components for this particular app. The reason being is it works really well with things like symbols and repeating elements. Even though I do have a repeating element here in the sidebar, I just chose to not bother doing it that way. So, getting back to this, let me show you what the finished looks like. All right, so down here, and I'm just going to zoom out a little bit by using Command minus, and again, Control minus for those people using a PC. And you're probably looking at this going, okay, this looks a little weird. It's a lot different than what we did as the wireframe. The reason being for that is strictly because we are using a sidebar float-in menu. And basically what that's going to do is drop down a menu and then take you to another slide. So in order for that to work, I had to duplicate the slide and actually reposition how I want it to look. So you have to start with a beginning and an end in order for that transition to work, right? So the beginning is, there's the little 3 lines, and this is what it looks like, and then it's going to move into what the drop-down menu looks like. Now, you can do it a different way. You can actually have it so that way when the drop-down menu comes in, it just goes on top of what you're doing. And as you can see in some of these slides, that we've actually given it a little bit of a drop shadow, because black on black would have looked really flat. So this gives it a little bit off the page look, and or off the screen look to be more precise, and shows exactly how I want it to work. So getting back to this, let's take a look at some of the elements that are different from our original wireframe. For one, you can see this list is very long. Instead of just being a single screen, it's actually a scroll screen. The other thing is, you can see that we've put in images into each one of these panels, and I've created a logo. Now, the logo I created in Illustrator and exported as a PNG. There are, in fact, enough tools within Adobe XD for you to be able to create something inside of this program. You don't have to bring it in from somewhere else. But I just kept it simple because most of us are working in that kind of realm. So from this point, what I would like to do is show you how I built upon these. So I'm going to grab this one here on the end for podcasts. So you can see how this is developed. I'm just making a copy by holding down Option and clicking and dragging. So here we have a copy. Now understand that this app I've already hooked up, so we can see how it works. But I noticed after I did it that I've made a few mistakes, and I've left them in so I can show you how it to correct, first of all, and also what works and what doesn't work in terms of transition. So let's just start with this to begin with. So the first thing that I want to sort of point out is that if I'm grabbing this from the label, you see this double blue line here? That indicates that this is the end of the screen and I've gone past it. So what that does is it automatically places a scrolling ability. So you see how it's come up as vertical automatically? Now, if I decide to change the size of this or whatever, I can actually say, no, don't do it. Let's frustrate the user. But we want them to scroll. So the way this works, the original position for this would have been here. All I did was open it up. And you'll notice that I've actually gone past the end of the text. And the reason for that is, again, some screens end up with like elements that are belonging to the device you're using. So you want to make sure that your user isn't frustrated, that they can get to the bottom. And if you actually put anything in there like a navigation bar or something that they would have to tap on, they need the access. So getting back to this, here's what we're going to do. You can see my elements here. I've actually put in the 3 lines for the drop-down menu. I have a little tag here that's telling you what it is you're looking at, and then of course the definition and the examples of how to use it. Now, there's other ways of doing this. There are plugins available with Lorem Ipsum. We're not using them here, but you can always download them and you can find things through your plugins manager right here. I just wanted to point that out. We're not actually using it here. I've actually taken all of my definitions from the Merriam-Webster dictionary online. So, but I'm going to remove this because I want to show you how the masking works, because I did it for both the logo and all of these images. If I double click on the image, you can see that it's actually gone past. And I've used Adobe Stock for most of my images. Well, actually for all my images except for the logo, which I created. But you don't have to. There's many different stock sites that are available. And also you'll notice it's watermarked, which is fine because this is a prototype. This is not your finished app. So having something that's watermarked is not going to bother it. But let me quickly show you Pixabay and Adobe Stock. Let's start with Pixabay. I know I had Adobe Stock there, but let's start with Pixabay. Pixabay actually is a copyright zero website, so you can feel fear-free of using these images. Again, this is just for placement. We're creating this prototype. The likeliness of us using the actual photos and illustrations that we're getting from this might be slim, might not be the same thing. And if we do want to do it, then you have this available. The great thing with Adobe Stock is that it's very simple for you to integrate with Adobe XD. You can create a library and you can actually just download it to your library automatically. So here's that awesome picture that I used. And if I click here, it's just going to save it to the library. So let's go back to XD. Now, again, you have to be logged in. As you can see my little picture here, I'm logged in. Go back to Adobe XD, and I'm going to go into File and open the CC libraries and show you that here is all of my previews, including my logo, under Adobe XD Basics. And the same thing is true if I flip back really quickly to Adobe Stock. My libraries, because I'm logged in, are right here. So those are libraries I'm using for different purposes. So let's go back to XD again. And so you can see that I've used it here. So I have it readily available because I'm going to delete this to show you how to build it. So I'm going to use the rectangle box. I have guides. So I'm just going to place this in. And as you can see, as soon as I put in this box, it covers those two elements that I need. I'm going to show you, again, once we drag and drop this in, I'll show you how this works. So grabbing the podcast image, I'm going to just drop it, and it instantaneously masks to the actual size of what it is that I created. And again, I can double click, reposition this if I don't like it. If I want to have more focus just on the microphone and the monitor, I can do that. As soon as I click off of it, it masks it to the actual square that I created. Very simple, very quick, not a really big problem.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Click the link in the description below to explore more free online professional development on the Adobe Education Exchange. And click the link on screen to subscribe to the channel for more videos.